Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and an update on our $1 million challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. Further details and information about how to join us on the challenge are in the description below. In the previous video we did an important stock update for ticker symbol NLST Netlist. This is a stock that has been featured a few times on the channel, so if in order to get the latest developments for the stock, please refer back to the previous video. In today's video I'm going to be doing an update on ticker symbol MMAT and also ticker symbol MMTLP. So I would first of all like to do is give a shout out to Sterling Stocks, who has very kindly shared a very important interview with George. So this was an interview which included question and answer at the IIF fairly recently. So let's delve a little bit deeper in terms of what was covered. So let's have a look at the details of this interview. So on the screen here you'll be able to see that this interview was carried out at the International Investment Forum on the 17th of February 2022. There were many companies there present, including George, who was live on stage. So let's now have a look at some of the key questions covered. So the first question I think is quite important for all investors of ticker symbol MMAT, and the screen here you can see that this was one of the key questions. The question was, when will the earnings of MMAT Metamaterials be released? So George did answer this question, although he didn't give a specific answer. He said he's not able to share a specific date. However, he did say he expects earnings to come through early March 2022, so potentially we're looking at before the end of the second week. He also said that the announcement of the date will also be shared through a PR through the company website, so let's keep an eye out for details of the date for earnings. The second question I'd like to feature is with regard to Conco Philips. So a number of analysts and other people in social media have speculated that there may be a potential sale of assets to Conco Philips, and this was a question that was asked to George with regard to have assets been sold to Conco Philips. So George does have a habit of sometimes offering some cryptic answers where he's not able to confirm or deny. So on this occasion there was a clear-cut answer, so the answer is no. Assets have not been sold to Conco Philips, so George was fairly clear on this. So this is something I think all analysts can now put to bed. The third question I'd like to share is with regard to the annual dividend for Metamaterials holders of ticker symbol MMAT. So this is not the same as a special dividend. So the question here is, will Metamaterials MMAT shareholders get an annual dividend? So this is something that was asked to George. George did reply fairly clearly, and he stated that the intention of the company is to pay an annual dividend. However, this is not going to happen right now. This is something more in the long term and will require the company to make a profit. So certainly in the long term this is a strong possibility. Before we look at question 4, I'd like to quickly share with you a copy of our weekly watch list. This includes a number of stocks which are not shared on the YouTube channel, and this week we have a stock that is got great potential for squeeze. So in order to get a copy of this weekly watch list before the market opens on Tuesday this week, you can join us for as little as $9 a month. The next question I'd like to share with you is with regard to the special dividend. So George was asked information with regard to what is the latest on the special dividend. So in terms of the information that he could share, what George did say, he did say the company are looking to spin off the assets. So in terms of the assets, so he's talking about the oil and the gas assets in particular. In terms of an official announcement or some breaking news, that was not shared. So we have no confirmation with regard to any potential sale. We also don't have confirmation of a spin out in terms of Oilco. However, the company have stated that any news on the special dividend will be announced officially through the PR. So that's something that we await, and we've also been given a date of the first quarter of 2022. So we're looking at latest the end of March 2022. And the next question I'd like to share with you was a question that was also put to George, and that was, what are metamaterials and what is the advantage of metamaterials? So this was something that George referred to using the presentation. So on the screen here we can look at the information that George talked about. He talked about metamaterials with a headline of enabling the 21st century age of invisible materials. So what are metamaterials? So George shared that these are The Metamaterials control on-demand unique functional properties in absorption, emission, sensing, transmission and guiding of light, sound, energy and heat, as well as friction strength and electric energy. So that was the first key point there. In terms of the advantage, he also talks about speed, scale and cost. So with regard to the cost, he's looking at increasing the roll-to-roll web width and line speed should drive costs down to a few dollars per square meter. So positive headline and positive information shared by here from the point of view of Metamaterials and the potential of Metamaterials. The next question George was looking at is with regard to Nanoweb, and we're looking at what are the competitive advantages of Nanoweb. So on the screen here we can see some of the key features that George focused on were things like the lithography capabilities, enabling fabrication of sensors and antennas completely invisible to the human eye. He's also talking about Nanoweb is flexible unlike the incumbent ITO. And finally, he also looked at antennas that can operate low to high frequency, 3G, 5G, 6G and beyond. So a great potential for the future. And he also looked at the potential to provide communication systems for conventional EV and autonomous vehicles. So going forward, this certainly seems to be the future. And the final question I'd like to look at is with regard to intellectual property. And so George was asked, what can you tell us about the Metamaterials intellectual property? So he was referring here to the investor relations presentation. And some of the things that he shared with us was with regard to the 250 filed patents. And these include 156 that have been issued across 68 patent families. The company also has 9 registered trademarks. And as well as that, they're looking at proprietary custom manufacturing processes and trade secrets developed over 10 years with multi-million-dollar investments to cover that. And finally, he's also looking at processes and methods that were patented early, providing multi-year competitive advantage. So the company long-term, especially in the field of AR, EV, defense and also in the medical sector, I think the potential for Metamaterials, as well as in the consumer electronics, energy, identified on the pie chart there, is going to be huge. However, the company is not yet generating sufficient revenue right now, but long term this is one of the great companies in terms of future potential. And finally, if you would like to join us in our Discord, you can join for as little as $9 a month. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.